90% of guys trying to get their anime physique fail within 2 weeks for one reason. They know that they want to look like Toji, Garo, and Sung Jin Woo, but they just don't have the clear plan to get there. So in this video, I'm going to give you the exact 5-phase system that I use to go from skinny fat to an aesthetic anime physique at home in 16 weeks. It's the same system that my students use to unlock their transformations, like Jonathan, who escaped skinny fat within the first month, and Thomas, who put on 12 pounds of muscle in 3 months. The first phase is the diagnosis. This is the phase where we lay out the entire plan for your journey. Because most people aren't failing to build an anime physique because of lack of information. They're failing because of internal problems that they've never actually faced. Think about Sung Jin Woo when he first gets access to the system. Before he could start leveling up, the system forced him to confront the one thing that absolutely nobody wants to face, and that's our own crippling insecurity that eats us up at night, especially me. And for Sung Jin Woo's case, he is the weakest hunter in existence. That is an unfortunate title to have. But that brutally honest look at himself is exactly what helped him to begin his tremendous journey. And that's exactly what you need to do for yourself. Now, there are 5 parts to finding this out for yourself. The first part, we have to start with the origin story. Every main character has one, and you need to have one too. This is your reason for starting your journey. For example, this student of mine, he wanted to be a better man, husband, father, that guy that he's always dreamed of and envisioned in his mind. His purpose, he wants to be a role model for his son and have such a strong conviction, be so handsome that literally everybody, including the gents, are staring at his body. But of course, especially his wife. Well, you're gonna need more than just a reason if you want to move forward. You need to get real about what you actually want to change, listing out your current insecurities, looking in the mirror and telling yourself exactly what you hate and who is the person that you want to become and what happens if you never become that person. Doing this is going to give you a protagonist level of drive way before we start doing a single exercise, because now it's more than just aesthetics, it is more than just muscle, it is personal. Once you understand your origin story, you need to understand what your current stats are, because a workout program for somebody who can do 20 pull-ups is going to look very different from someone who can only do 5. And without it, you're going to end up doing a program that's not built for you. And as a result, you're more likely to burn out, give up, or even go backwards. The most important thing is finding out how strong you actually are right now. How many pull-ups can you do? How many push-ups can you do? Can you do any pistol squats? If you're not sure how to evaluate your stats, just use this list of exercises, test your max, and then go from there. Now, for the third part of the diagnosis, I want you to imagine One Piece without the One Piece. It doesn't make any more sense, right? It barely made sense to begin with. There would be no purpose for Luffy to go out on his adventure, sailing boats, fighting dangerous baddies, if there wasn't an end goal to drive him there. He'd have no reason to get stronger, and his crew probably wouldn't exist, and he probably wouldn't have made it past the Grand Line. So what you need to do next is understand what your One Piece is. And without it, you're not going to be able to build a path to get to that point. To find your own One Piece, ask yourself where you want to be near the end of the journey. What do you want your weight to be? How strong do you want to be? And which character do you want to look like? Toji in his V-taper, Garo in his boulder shoulders, or Sung Jin Woo with his aesthetic celebrity looking look? Next, you want to understand your training grounds. First thing to look at is, are you training from the gym or from home? Because it's really important to build your program around your own environment and your own schedule. Otherwise, you miss workouts, you create too much friction, and then you end up quitting. Second, think about how many days per week you actually want to train. Whether you can do as much as 6 days a week or as little as 2. And think realistically here. How much can you actually invest into this journey? And of course, how much time per day on those days of the week can you also invest? Whether that's an hour of hard training or just 30 minutes. No matter what you pick, you can get results either way. But whatever you do, just make sure that that program revolves around your life and not the other way around. The last part of the diagnosis is the nutrition profile. Diet, it's a massive part of getting an anime physique. It's almost 80% of it. But most people, they just throw themselves into a diet without thinking about it. And that just leaves them confused, hungry, and frustrated with where they are because they're munching on foods they hate, and then they're back to eating whatever bullcrap they've been eating by week 2. So you need to be able to understand your own eating habits first. How many meals do you eat in a particular day? What are your favorite foods? Do you happen to snack a lot? Of course, you also want to think about how much time do you have to invest in food prep? Do you have time to cook every day? Or can you only invest one day to bulk prep all your food? Or if you have literally no time, what are alternatives, healthy alternatives that you can do so that you can stay on your diet without investing time into cooking? I cannot stress how important the diagnosis phase is. Getting honest answers here is going to save you a ton of headache in the later phases, so it's important to get it right. Now, once you have the proper diagnosis, you can then move on to phase 2, which is the power up blueprint phase. This is the most critical and probably most difficult part of the entire process. Without the proper blueprint, the actual plan, you're never going to get that anime physique. Think of it like a jujutsu sorcerer who is using a technique that isn't innate to them. First of all, not possible in the universe. Like Nanami can't use Gojo's infinity. Nobara doesn't have the sick gains of Toji and can't punt bad guys in the face. In fact, the other way around happens. So why do you expect to copy someone else's program and expect it to work for your body, your life, and your goals? Your blueprint has to be built specifically for you based on your diagnosis. Typically, I do this for every single student inside of the Protagonist Academy so that they don't need to worry about it and they don't need to bang their head against the wall trying to do a bunch of programs for like 30 freaking people. Oh my god. But here is the simplified rundown if you do want to do it yourself. First, we're going to start with the exercise plan. And one of the key things that you got to figure out is the actual split framework. The number of days that you're able to contribute to training in the week is going to determine everything. If you can train at least 5 days a week, push-pull legs is going to be your go-to, non-negotiable. If you can only do 4 days per week, upper-lower will be your best bet. Any less than 4 days, you're gonna go full body. The worst thing you can do is pick a split that you think is good and you think should work, but you can't actually stick to it. Next, choosing the right exercises based on your strength levels and your goals. For example, if you are trying to look like Toji, you're gonna be focusing a lot on V-taper, a lot on the arms, so doing pull-ups, chin-ups, jackknife pull-ups, and maybe a form of inverted rows. Or maybe you want to go for Maki's powerful leg focused build. You're going to be spamming lower body work like pistol squats, Bulgarian split squats, lunges, all of that. Maybe you're not trying to look like a certain physique. Maybe you're trying to unlock a skill like a handstand. Well, then hand balancing moves, shoulder strengthening moves will be your go-to. Pike push-ups, wall handstand holds, frog stands, and maybe some freestanding handstand attempts. But here's the key bit of information. Do not pick exercises that are so easy that it's a cakewalk to do, but so hard that you can barely get 3 reps in. Now, when it comes to the diet plan, I promise you this is a lot easier than it sounds. Step 1 is just calculating the calories that you burn throughout the day. This is gonna be based on your age, your height, your weight, and your activity level that you have throughout the day. This number is called the TDEE, total daily energy expenditure. All you have to do is Google any TDEE calculator, put in those numbers that I just mentioned, and it'll spit out a TDEE that is for you. Step 2 is deciding the rate of weight loss or weight gain. For example, if I want to lose 4 pounds in 4 weeks, then my rate of weight loss is going to be 1 pound per week. Then from there, you can calculate your daily deficit. Now, to lose 1 pound per week, you're going to want to do a 500 calorie deficit per day. But if you're trying to lose 1.5 pounds per week, all you have to do is take 500, multiply it by 1.5, and then boom, your daily deficit needs to be 750. If you're trying to lose a half pound per week, well then multiply 500 by 0.5, and then you've got 250 calorie deficit per day. If you're not sure what your rate of weight loss should be, in general, most people can lose up to 1% of their current body weight per week without any downsides or muscle loss. Now, if you're trying to gain weight, you're going to want to default to 250 calories surplus as your maximum. Any more than that, you're just putting on unnecessary fat. And if you're just trying to stay the same weight, just eat at your TDEE. Step 3, you got to eat your protein. Your protein, the lifeblood of the muscle. This part is the simplest. Just eat 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. And if you don't know what your goal body weight needs to be, just default to 140 to 150 grams of protein per day. That is a safe bet for most weight ranges. Now, before we move on to the next phase, the one mistake that everybody makes when it comes to their power up blueprint is this. A lot of guys will try to spend weeks on creating the perfect plan for themselves, tweaking every exercise to be the perfect strength level, making sure the diet is 100% on point, and they will not start until they're convinced that it's perfect. But here is the truth. You are never going to know if a plan will work unless you actually execute it. So what you need to do is come up with a basic plan using the guidelines that I gave you and go through what I call a trial week. The goal for this week is not to get results, it's to see if this plan is sustainable and actually works for you. If the schedule feels right, you're going to feel you have a rhythm with your workout. If the exercises are good, they're going to be challenging you, but they're not going to be so hard that you can't do them. And when it comes to the diet, it's going to feel like you're able to do this for the rest of your life. If your trial week fits all of those criteria, congratulations, that's the plan for you. If it doesn't, then something needs to adjust. Based on this exact process and building power blueprints for all of my students, these are the results that we've gotten in literally just the first month. David Lee lost a ton of face fat and got some serious definition. Rin, she lost 11 pounds of fat. Edison unlocked the press to handstand, and I could go on, but I won't. We'll be here all day. If you want me to personally build the plan for you, going through all the nitty-gritty details that nobody wants to talk about, and guide you through every single step of your 16-week journey to building that aesthetic anime physique that you've always dreamed of, just click the link in the description and you can apply to the Protagonist Academy today. But, and this is the biggest but I've ever given you, the plan will never work without proper execution, which is why we now enter phase 3, the Limit Breaker Protocol. Think about when Gojo got absolutely bodied by Toji. In that moment, he realized his limitation and knew that in order to grow, he had to break those limits. So after forcing himself to learn the reverse curse technique on the brink of death, he came back to life, promoted himself as the position of the honored one, and immediately got into graphic design at turning Toji into the Apple logo. Now that shift, that growth, it did not happen because Gojo was comfortable. It happened because he got pushed beyond what he thought was possible. And this is exactly what the Limit Breaker Protocol is about, and it's the reason why so many people are getting good results in the first month. There are 2 principles to the protocol. The first one is one of the most fundamental. The single most important factor in building muscle is how hard you're pushing yourself. A guy who can do 10 reps and easily bang out another 10 is not going to make gains. But the guy who can do 8 reps because 8 is genuinely his limit is the guy who becomes the big and strong Giga Chad, turning Toji into the Apple logo, which is why every single set needs to be as close to failure, if not failure, as much as possible. Does it have to be like that all the time? No. But the more you're able to push yourself to that limit is more opportunities to grow. Now, the first principle, that was a fundamental, but the second principle, this is where the game changes entirely. And it's where most people leave gains on the table. Once you hit failure, most of your muscle fibers are going to be exhausted. But there are actually still some fibers left in the gas tank, just screaming for one more rep. Maybe during your workouts, you feel you could have done a little more. So by pushing beyond failure, using a rest pause, adding partial reps, a slow negative even, you guarantee that those remaining fibers get tapped out. But you can't just be doing the same thing over and over and expect to get results, even with the Limit Breaker Protocol, which is why we need to hop into phase 4. Think about Sungjin Woo. After his first dungeon, he didn't just go back and run the same one again on repeat. Every arc, every fight, every boss was harder than the last. Bigger threats, stronger enemies, higher stakes, more loot, bigger gains, more glow up, Giga Chad. Because staying in the same dungeon and fighting the same goblins over and over isn't what's going to make you stronger. It's just going to make you comfortable, and comfortable is not building that anime physique, good sir. And that's why every 2 weeks, you need to be upping the difficulty. Here are the ways that you can do that. First is the reps, simply increasing that over time. If you did 8 reps last session, aim for 9 to 10 this session. Even small increments are going to compound over time. Second is progressions, using harder variations of exercises you're already doing. Jackknife pull-ups become pull-up negatives, become regular pull-ups. Push-ups turn into decline push-ups, turn into archer push-ups. The third one is tempo, controlling the actual speed of the rep. Adding a 3-second eccentric to your exercises will immediately shift the difficulty, or going explosive with the repetitions will also add a new level of strength. And fourth is density, the actual rest periods themselves. You're doing the same exercise, you're doing the same reps, but you're just decreasing the rest between sets. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I promise you your body's gonna feel the difference immediately. But what good is a jacked physique if the person on the inside has not changed? I'm going off philosopher Kevin on you. You've probably seen them before. Some people, they grind for months, they get in shape, but they just still don't carry themselves with confidence. These guys aren't protagonists, these are gym cells, which is why the 5th and final phase is the self-improvement protocol. And it all starts with your damn phone. Your phone is the biggest distractor of your best self. It controls your focus, it controls your dopamine, and is a window to a world of brain rot and bad habits. Fun fact, literally before I was about to record this video, I found myself in a scrolling loop that I had to break through. The phone is incredibly powerful. It can lead to things like corn addiction, the previously mentioned scrolling addiction, and of course the curse of the 6'7" boy. I hate 6'7". Getting rid of the phone is probably the highest leverage thing you can do for your self-improvement. The best way, in my opinion, is by installing some form of app blocker. I use Minimalist Phone, and I would show you what it looks like, but I'm actually using another method to get rid of the phone, and that's just putting it in a different room entirely. It's hard to use your phone if you don't have it in sight. So if you're trying to get rid of it and you're trying to get work done, put it away somewhere you can't see it and worry about finding it later. You've got more important things to do. And once that phone is gone, you can invest your time into other things, other good habits, meditation, journaling, time blocking, and just working on yourself. Once the habits are in place, this is going to help you jump into the next step of the protocol, and personally my favorite step, the glow up step. That's right, we're about to improve how you look without the cringe looks maxing. It all starts with the clothes. How do you improve your style? How do you improve how you dress? Because a well-built physique will look like nothing if the clothes fit like doo-doo. The best place to start is going on Pinterest. Look up any sort of aesthetic that you like, whether that's the old money aesthetic, a grunge aesthetic, a streetwear aesthetic, and just type that in, find outfits that inspire you and that you think you would look good in, and copy those outfits. Try them out, experiment with colors, and pretty soon your closet is going to be full of clothes that you're confident in wearing. If you're really not sure what outfits to build, I will give you 3 ideas. First is the suit. It's a classic piece that you want to wear to any formal event. It is the thing you should have in your closet. Second, a leisure fit that you can wear in a relaxed state. You're not always trying to dress up and be uncomfortable. You want to be chill, like sweatpants and hoodie kind of chill, but something that's still loose and you're able to feel confident in. And the third I call the ass kicking outfit. This is just the outfit that you wear literally anywhere for your confidence sake. I have a few ass kicking outfits and I love wearing them, and that's the point of them. Once your style's on point, you gotta work on improving that haircut. But a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, do this very wrong. The right haircut can complement your face perfectly, while the wrong haircut is gonna make you look like a freak. Now here's a misconception. The perfect hairstyle is not about matching your face shape, it's about balancing proportions, softening the weaknesses, and emphasizing the strength. Your face is split into 3 sections: your forehead, the mid-face, and the chin area. Here's the one rule you gotta follow. You need to balance whatever's too big or too small. If you have a small forehead, a very narrow forehead, you don't wanna hide it any more than it's already hidden. You wanna expose that forehead and even add width to it by creating volume with hair here. Let's say you got a large forehead, like me. I've got a pretty broad forehead. Let me just give you a look at exactly what we're dealing with here. This is why I wear my hair like this, so it covers up the corners of the forehead and makes it appear more balanced. Now, if you're someone who has complete balance all the way, you've got a pretty good square, show off that balance, show off that face. Don't cover anything up, slick that bad boy back. If you're square, then you be there, because your hair is going to be so good. Like if I didn't have this haircut and I decided to go super short on the sides and super tall here and I had nothing covering this up, I would look horrible. If you really don't know what hair to go with, here's a cheat sheet that you can use to help determine what hairstyle will work best for your face. After the glow up, the last part of the self-improvement protocol is the mindset. And this is going to be the most important piece of all. You are going to need the right state of mind so that you can show up every day and, more importantly, keep improving every single day. Because without it, you're going to fall off, regain the weight, have a glow down, which gonna suck, and the cycle is just gonna repeat itself. So watch this video right here to learn the Japanese rule to locking the freak in and becoming unrecognizable.